CTM stock is one of the companies that has had some of the most potential as a small cap defense company, and we're going to take a look at it today. So, again, this is a company that is in defense and cybersecurity, and they have this trend that's developing. I think we might have some drawings here. Oh, just one line. Okay, so you can see there is a trend and it's starting to consolidate from left to right. It was looking a little more bearish the past few days, which kind of was expected, but it is down to this dollar range right now. It's at $1 a share. So if you just kind of take a look at this level, you can see this trend developing, but it is kind of consolidating here. Now it looks like it's bearish and it's below this EMA. It's crossed below that 200-day moving average, or at least it's below it, but the overall trend is up. Now, from here, you might say, okay, it looks like a trend that could make sense. Like maybe we see this recovery right here. That's about a 60% increase, and that would be a swing that just based on the trend could make sense. But again, it is consolidating from left to right and has a little more bearish momentum here on the near term. So we'll have to see if it holds this area really of about $1 down to about $1 or 94 cents, somewhere in here, 95 cents, even as low as 88 cents. It's a near previous support. So again, we'll be watching it there and seeing if it recovers. The beautiful thing about investing in CTM is that they don't have a lot of hype. So if we just take a look at CTM stock, unless it's changed in the last week or so, I don't believe they have a tremendous amount of hype. Let's see. So if we go to news, one thing to consider is hype. Okay, we don't see a lot of articles that are saying buy now before it's too late. Don't miss this. You're going to miss out on the cash out of your entire life savings. Go now. Whatever it is that they say, right? There's so many different hype articles that normally come up for these smaller stocks like Castellum Inc. But fortunately for us, there isn't any hype articles, which is why I'm actually gravitating towards it. I think it's building some consistent momentum. If you take a look at the financials, their 4 quarters here, their revenue holding steady at around basically $10 to $11 million. Now, of course, you see that net profit margin, it's a little volatile. They were negative 36% there, but it's still, holding right there. It says negative 26%, but there's such a small market cap that that's going to happen. The revenue around $10 million a quarter is promising if their market cap is just about $88 million. So again, market cap to revenue looks fairly good. And I'm going to be watching this company closely. As you can see, they reported earnings and they've been meeting them, so keep that in mind. When it comes to Castellum's news, I'm really fascinated with any company that is in the defense space right now. We're not going to see necessarily a big decrease in the amount of money that they get, but as there would be with a company related to tariffs potentially, or related to education. Not to say that education is not going to get funding, but let's just say that government spending is going to be cutting in certain areas, and this area of defense and AI and cybersecurity is most likely not going to see any cuts in spending. So most of their contracts are with the government, and you can see they have this Oasis Plus with no ceiling value, which is essentially meaning they will be seeing new contracts in the future if they continue to deliver. And if you look at their news they've had come out, let's take a look. Recently on March 19th, they got this 4.5 million public offering. That did scare investors a little bit. They need cash. They're a smaller company. They've had to do this, and we do see that as a factor in potentially diluting investors a little bit there, and it's not something you like to see. However, the beautiful thing about this company is that they're getting these contracts in the $50 to $100 million range, including contracts with Naval Air. You see this, Naval Air Systems, $103 million over the course of, I believe, 5 years. It is, a 5.5 year contract. So if you do some math there, divide that, it's about $20 million a year. So 20 million divided by 4, it's about $5 million in added revenue per quarter. If you just kind of look at that from, a very straightforward perspective with CTM, $5 million per quarter would mean they're increasing their revenue by about 50% per quarter. Now, we're going to have to see if that plays directly into their stock. There's a lot of talk of whether or not they're going to still cut down on their spending and things like that. So we have to see what that looks like from a profit potential. But the mission, they're working with US government customers. They have quite a few of them, and they continue to get these contracts that look interesting. Now, I personally see them as a company that's going to continue to gain cash momentum, cash flow, and I see their market cap as relatively small compared to what they could be worth. And that's why I'm covering them today. And I feel that this trend that's starting to develop, whether we see sell-offs in the market, of course, that can always impact this industry. But again, it's not going to be we're not going to see a decreased spending in data management or AI or cybersecurity or things related to software. The US government has said if there's one thing that we can improve on more, it's software. And so this is a company that could stand to benefit. So again, if it continues this trend to be about a 60% increase from there, of course, it's such a small company that it's highly volatile. I'd urge caution, but it's also a company that in a very short amount of time could be worth much more than the $100 million market cap that it's at currently. We could see that at $500 million or up to, $1 billion, which if it's at 88 million now, then that would indicate, that's very speculative to say $1 billion, but I think that a $200 to $500 million market cap would make sense given the $100 million range of contracts that we're seeing. So again, that would be about a 5% increase from current price. So just keep that in mind long term. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but the thing that would make sense as an investor to look at, you don't want to get caught in something that is super volatile and super not making sense. And so many people are looking at whatever a YouTuber says and they're buying the stock and they're not doing well because they don't get to do the due diligence. My goal here is to give you a clear approach, give you a clear look at why the company has been gaining the momentum that it's been gaining and why it has been surging from this 20-cent range up to $1. And what makes sense for you might not make sense for everyone else. Some people want that steady cash and they should invest in a company like Nvidia or something that's more conservative. When you're looking at making an investment of any kind, you want to ask yourself, would the margin for profit make more sense than the risk? It looks like at this current support, it has a greater chance in this overall trend that it would make this move. And of course, with that being said, you still want to have a plan in place if it doesn't make this move. And that will give you, at least the clarity going in and that it meets your criteria. If all those things check out, then you can go in and have a confident investment or trade in the near term. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Appreciate you all. And again, if you want to watch me trade live, we go live each day at market open. We'll be there tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. Pacific. It's that second link in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I earned your thumbs up to consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.